Welcome to the Warband, episode 100 of a World of Warcraft podcast. My name is Swaglock, and with me today, as always, as he was in episode 1, the very beginning of this podcast, I've asked him to come back again for episode 2, and then 3, and then 4, and then 5. I'm just kidding. This was the man who asked me to be on the podcast, your host, my host, the host of this podcast, Chicken, or as he often spells it, Chick 3 and 3. What is up, dude?
What up? What up?
What up, man, dude? WoW has been juicy this week. I don't know if you've seen like all the random stuff that's been going on.
Not all of it, but I've seen a couple, and I'm like, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, man. Lots have been happening. We kind of talked about the housing stuff. There's some BlizzCon announcements with like a pack that you can get. So if you have tickets, you can get it right away, or you can just pay for it. That was
my first question to you.
Yep.
You already answered it.
Well, we'll get into that in a second. They also added they're currently adding a Jimothy pet into the game.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
So you've been watching that lovely raccoon running around. And then, of course, dude, the big drama this week, the big story, I'm sure everyone's talking about. You've probably already talked about it way too much. But you have the GM, the Game Master M+ scandal going on, which is wild. Which is wild, by the way.
Yeah. It is kind of wild. So wild that I don't even know what it is. Just kidding. No, I do know what it is, but I don't know like a lot of context about it. I just kind of read like the start of the article.
Okay. So I'll fill you in. We can just start right there. We can just start right with the drama at the beginning of this episode, which again, I want to say, man, this is episode 100, dude. We have hit a milestone, a major milestone of our podcast, and I think that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. No, I think it's crazy. I mean, what is it? What's the statistic that we always reference?
Oh, it's like 1% of podcasts even make it to like 20% or 20 episodes. I'd have to like look up the number to see what it is for 100 though. Yeah. Okay, actually, you know what? I don't know. These numbers aren't as bad as I thought they were. It's like 5% of podcasts make it to 100 episodes. So that's not bad. That's not bad. We did pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not bad. Sorry, I thought when you first told me it, I was like, oh, wow, that's kind of crazy. But, I mean, it's still crazy. It's just not as crazy as I thought it was.
Yeah, but it doesn't make sense to me because I'm looking at the numbers, and like they say 90% of podcasts don't get past like 5 episodes or something. I think people just make numbers up. I think they just make numbers up, and then they just see what happens.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Because this one says to be the top 1% of podcasts in the world, you only need to publish 21 episodes. So I don't know, dude. I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, nothing matters. Numbers are made up. Numbers are fake. Speaking of fudged numbers, though, back to the GM scandal. Back to the juice that's been happening. So basically what was going on is this one dude, right? Because we know WoW players are kind of nerdy. They're kind of nerds, right? So this one dude, absolutely not minding his own business whatsoever, is browsing through like Raider.io. I think it was like, no, Warcraft logs. Browsing through Warcraft logs of players who were pushing high keys. And he saw this group that pushed a 23 Nexus point, right? And I believe they were the first group that maybe time a plus 23 Nexus point. I could be wrong on that. But I think they were like the fastest time for Nexus point, or first group to time a Nexus point or something. So this keys time, this guy's looking at the logs. He's like scouring over the logs. And then he realizes that there was like a death ability that's like a GM only, like ability. That was just like it's not a player ability, it's not something players can use. It just instantly kills, usually it's like an area death, it kills everything in that area. I don't know if this was like a targeted one or like an area one. Either way, he noticed it was used, and then there was like some other weirdness going on. Other abilities that were being used at key moments in the dungeon to like push it in the right direction to be able to be timed. So he reports it, not to Blizzard, but I think he just posts it publicly, and it gets out. Like, he's like, hey, I saw this, is what's going on. And the news gets out, right? And they realize that this group was made up of like 4 players who were all like pretty close, plus a pug, like a random pug. And I could be wrong, it could have been 3 players, but I think it was like 4 players were close in the pug. And it was the pug who was tracking the logs. The pug had no clues what was going on. Because obviously, if you know you're cheating in a dungeon, like, you're not gonna log it, right? Like, you're not gonna make it public. You want it to be secret. But so this guy's like logging the run, and so yeah, ultimately, I'll give you a second asking a question, but ultimately they timed to plus 23 because they had a game master. When I say GM, I mean a game master, a person who works at Blizzard and has access to these developer tools, secretly kill like the boss for them.
That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, isn't that wild?
Yeah, I don't even know how that happens.
Well, so I can go a little bit further. Into it. So, the theory going around was that because like there's this girl in the group who's like a streamer, and so the theory was like, you know what, the GM was probably simping for the girl, right? Like, wanted to impress her, wanted to do something for her, and like that's what ended up happening. However, Growl was interviewing one of the guys from the group. I don't know why he agreed to it, but Growl was interviewing one of the guys from the group. And the guy claimed that he reached out to his GM friend and made like a joke asking for help and was surprised the GM actually like did anything, right? He didn't think it would work. However, there's a lot of people are a little sus of that. Like, why would he go get interviewed by Growl and like share all that? Unless he's trying to like deflect the blame onto himself so people don't get angry at, again, it's a streamer, right? At this girl who's streaming, if he's also simping, right? Or something. So like, he doesn't want people to get upset at her and for her to start getting less viewers. So he'll take the blame. He'll be the bad guy, right? He'll get in trouble. Maybe his account will get banned and her account won't get banned, right? And so players started to suspect maybe that's the case. And so they did some digging. And sure enough, they found like conversations between this girl and this GM on like Twitter and just like other interactions and stuff that they've had. So that like there was like actual evidence that they knew each other. It wasn't just this one dude in the group who like secretly asked his GM friend, but rather like, no, this girl knew who this GM was. And so all this stuff was going down. All of this was happening. And yeah, that's kind of the big drama. Now, they did end up getting banned. So I think 3 of the players got banned for a month. The pug who was like logging obviously did not get banned. He didn't really know what was going on. And then one other player didn't get banned. So I don't know if that player genuinely had no clue. I don't know if they were also a pug. I know no details on that regard. But 3 of the players got banned for a month. The GM got fired, so he got let go from his job.
Yes, I did see that.
Right, yeah. Which ultimately for me raised the question, like, dude, well, the risk could not have been worth the reward. Like, no shot. Even when like Blizzard came out, Blizzard made a post on it, and they essentially said like, hey, we actually internally track all of this as well, and we actually have a lot of tools internally that get flagged whenever these abilities are used, and they have to be logged correctly after they're used. And I think even like asking for permission to use them or something. And so the way Blizzard wrote it kind of came across as like, hey, this is very against what we do, but also we would have caught this too. Like this actually flagged in our system, and even if they hadn't logged it, this guy wouldn't have gotten away with it. It would have been like a bannable offense.
Interesting.
So I don't know if that's really
it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I don't know if Blizzard really is tracking that well internally, but they claim they are, and so yeah, guy lost his job. Is this like people got banned?
You don't have to say who it is, but is this like a pretty well-known streamer? Or is it just like someone that's like sort of kind of big, but not like necessarily huge?
Yeah, so the streamer was, I'm trying to pull up, I think her name was Yarabyte, or Yara for short. Not somebody I'm familiar with, so not a streamer that I've ever watched.
Yeah, I can't say
maybe we'll get them on the podcast to yap about it.
Oh my gosh.
I don't think we'll get them on the podcast to yap about it. Although I was talking to somebody this week for a potential future episode to join us that I think will be really cool, and I think our listeners will be excited about. That's the one hard thing. I'll say, though, as we talked about doing the podcast for the 100 episodes, man, keeping guests kind of flowing through it is more challenging than you think it is. It's hard to find people that you're like, oh, they'll truly have an enjoyable conversation on here. And we could just keep reaching out to all the big names we can think of, but they're almost never gonna say yes, and so that's kind of hard. So it's how do we find people who are truly super enjoyable to connect with? Now, I think I did find a big name that will be interesting in joining, which will be fun. But man, I've been thankful for the guests we've had on this podcast over the time we've done it, over the 100 episodes. Had some awesome people on. Keep it fun. But all that to say, I got distracted talking about that. Back to the real topic. Yeah, so people got banned. Guy lost his job. For now, that seems to be it. That seems to be the end of the drama. Is that the
highest key ever timed?
I believe so. What I saw, so I'm kind of speaking off memory right now. I don't have a document or something with all the key details in here, but I believe I saw that the Yarabyte streamer had posted on social media, Instagram or Twitter or something, posting the achievement that you get when you have the highest timed of a key for Nexus.
Because I was gonna say, if that wasn't even for the highest timed key, bro, you are simping way too hard, brother.
Simping way too hard, dude. Way too hard. I will say though. I will say.
Pinnacle of simp.
I will say though, I for sure am guilty of carrying women through keys.
Oh my gosh.
Because I'm a simp. Yeah, I've done it, dude. I have done it. In fact, I would do it again. If my wife asked me right now, if she was like, "Swag, go carry me through a key." Happy. She hasn't asked me in a while.
Literally right this second, bro. We're recording.
I would stop recording, dude. I don't think you realize how much more attracted to my wife than I am to you.
Don't do it.
Yeah, dude. I don't simp for Chicken. He's a great host of this podcast. I don't simp for him. Only for my wife.
Don't do it.
Only for my wife do I simp. And maybe Pit of Saren.
Well, if that's how you say it.
No, it is. Are you referencing?
Sure?
Are you referencing the question we got? Was that a question or a podcast discussion comment?
No, that was a question. Well, maybe a bit of both. I don't know.
I couldn't remember where it was posted.
It was from Glocks. He was like, I don't know.
Oh, yes. Well, why don't we play that right now? This is a little early in the podcast. Very early for when we would normally play a question. But it came up. And I as soon as it came up, I was like, dang it, dude. I have to wait a whole freaking week before I can respond to this. So, anyways.
I love lore. I don't want to wait a week.
All right, I'm gonna play the recording, and then I'll respond. But this is a question coming in from one of our Patreon supporters, Glocks. I love Glocks. He actually connected me recently with a friend of his who's Blood DK running 20s, maybe 21s now at this point. It was helping me fix the details. Yeah. So anyways, Glocks sent a question. Our Patreon supporters, by the way, if you're a Patreon supporter, you can send your questions in and always kind of get priority access to questions. But also, we allow our Patreon supporters to send their questions in via audio, not just text. And so I'm going to play this right now.
All right. So I'm listening to the podcast right now, and you guys keep saying Pit of Saren. And I was really thinking that Swag would put on his lore hat and realize it's Pit of Saran, because it's Yogg Saran. Unless you call him Yogg Saran. So, just wanted to say that, just bothering me. So, here's that.
All right. So, a few things.
Boom, roasted.
Not roasted. Actually, reverse roasted. I'm about to pull out the Uno.
I'm
pulling out the Uno. I'm pulling out the Uno reverse card right now. All right. I love Glocks. So, first thing, Glocks, you're wrong. Second thing, Glocks, it is Pit of Saren, and I can explain why. So Yogg Saran is the old god, right? And I'm going to give some extra lore for those who don't know. I'm going to explain to Chicken, right? So
good, because I don't.
Pit of Saren, right, one of the M+ dungeons right now in the expansion, takes place in Northrend during the Wrath of the Lich King expansion. And the idea of it is that the Lich King is mining a metal in this like quarry, right? It's a big quarry. They're trying to mine this resource that they're using to build armor and weapons and all sorts of other stuff. It even seems like his cathedral is built out of it. Right, and all the other stuff. The Citadel, sorry, I call it Cathedral. The Ice Crown Citadel is built out of it, and some sort of like life-death engine thing he has going on underneath of it, even built out of this material that they're mining out of the ground. The material in question is actually the blood. I think we're told it's kind of blood. It could not be. It could be whatever, but some sort of mineral coming out of the old god Yogg-Saron, who was locked up underneath Northrend, right? So old god's locked up on the ground. His blood is kind of surfacing and mineralizing above ground, and it's being mined by pretty much everybody. Even we as the player, we're mining it. We're crafting armor with it. The Lich King, he's trying to get it for his armies. Everybody wants it. It's supposed to be really powerful. A little questionable that we thought it was a good idea to cover ourselves in old god blood. Maybe wasn't a good idea. I'm just putting it out there.
That sounds pretty.
Maybe it wasn't.
Good to me.
It also reminds me that the Black Blood from the War Within never went anywhere, and they did absolutely nothing with that major story plot, and that's kind of disappointing because that was also supposed to be like an old god blood of some sort. Now,
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Here is why it's called Pit of Saren and not Pit of Saran. All right, so all that backstory to explain it. The ore that we are mining is called Saronite. So the ore itself that's being used is Saronite. So it's not Pit of Saran, like Yogg-Saron. It's Pit of Saren, like Saronite. Even though it is Yogg-Saron's blood, what we're mining is referred to as Saronite. And
You're sure it's not Soronite?
No, it's not.
Saronite.
Saronite. We're wearing some Saronite. And I think it's really interesting, and I don't know if we're really given an explanation, because I don't think people actually knew what it was when they started mining it. So, like, the assumption is that the name of Saronite came before we knew it was the blood of Yogg-Saron, which makes it weirder, right? It makes it weirder that it is, but obviously the developers knew, and so that was more so just like a little like from the developers telling us that there was something suspicious about this metal that we're mining before we as a player totally understood what it was. But yeah, sure. So we're mining Saronite, we're not in this case. Pit of Saren is right, the Lich King and his army, they are mining the Saronite. So Pit of Saren. Uno reversed. I did it.
Do you think his thing was a meme, or do you think he actually...
Oh, dude, I love clocks. I think it was a little bit of both. Okay. I think he wanted me to put the nerd hat on for a second. Anyways, back to the conversation at hand. Yeah, the only two people I simp for are my wife and the Pit of Saren. And that's it.
And the Pit of Saren?
Oh, dude, I'd make out with the Pit of Saren. I already talked about this last episode.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
dude, that's a good dungeon. That's a very good dungeon. Incredible dungeon. But that's not really the conversation at hand. Conversation at hand is at plus 23 Nexus point. I think Chicken, what's fascinating for me is I could not fathom. I get that people make stupid choices. I totally get that. Like if I was a player running dungeon, somebody was like, yo, my GM buddy's gonna kill help us time this and then get away with it. I want to say that, like, morally, I would say no, and I think I would. I think I'd be too nervous about losing my account that I would say, no, I'm not going to do that. But, like, I could still maybe see myself doing that, right? Like, I don't know.
Wait, really? What the heck?
Like, it's enough of a gray area to be like, oh, wow, that's kind of cool, like, awesome. But if I worked at Blizzard, like, if I got a job at Blizzard, like, I was, like, finally so excited to get a job at, like, a reputable gaming company with like a well-known name, working on a game that people like love. Like this is an opportunity. Like you're just not gonna, like, if you fail this opportunity, you're not getting another one, right? Dude, no way. I don't care how cute that girl is on her live streams. And by the way, he might not have been simping for a girl. It really truly might have just been a buddy of his that reached out and said, hey, whatever. I don't know. Nobody,
I don't know. It kind of seems like he
nobody's,
was simping a bit.
nobody's
He's the
convincing
simp
me.
master.
Yeah, nobody's convincing me though to risk my job to help
Oh
them
no.
to help them time a key.
What do you think that pug thought? Like, oh dang, these guys are good. They just killed everything instantly.
I'm sure he was probably a little confused, but like if you're running a dungeon, right, and something just like weird happens, your first instinct is never like, oh dude, I bet you there's a GM hiding somewhere, auto killing stuff for me, right? Like you're not thinking about it. You're like, oh, that's weird. Why'd that happen? That bugged out, huh? Worked in my favor.
Oh, that's weird.
Right? Yeah. Oh, that kind of bugged out, but whatever. It worked.
Whatever. We'll definitely time this dungeon now.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, if I was tracking my own logs and something weird happened, and I was like, I'm gonna check the logs to see like what that was. Like, why did the boss suddenly just drop 2% health like instantly?
So was he the one that reported them? The random pug?
No, it was some random dude who was like looking over Warcraft logs, public logs, because people like will either public or private log, and this guy was public logging, and because he was a pug, and so they like saw the logs, they want to see what they were doing for like the highest key, and that's how they found it.
Oh, because they saw that there was like a new highest key, and he's like, I'm gonna. Okay,
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But if I was logging, like if I was the guy who was logging, and I'm assuming he had no clue, I'm assuming he didn't really go back and look at his log, right? He probably was like, well, we timed it, I don't really care, we did good, I'm not like plan to look back. But if I was in the dungeon and like something weird happened like that and I knew I was logging, so it's like, oh, why did the boss drop 2%? Let me go check the logs. And I opened up the logs and it just says death touch test on it or something.
Oh.
Right? I'd probably
like
stop.
Underscore death instant underscore like
right / command. I would probably do it so fast, bro. So fast, I'd be like looking up the most efficient way to I'd be looking at like the most efficient way to get a hold of Blizzard and be like, yo, I think something happened in my dungeon and I really need you guys to know because I don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I agree.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And I get it, like now somebody's job's on the line because I ratted them out. But listen, I know your job is important. I promise you, no matter how important your job is, I promise you, I have met like pediatricians who try to tell me otherwise. But I promise you, no matter how important your job is, my World of Warcraft account is more important to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely.
I agree. And it should be.
But yeah, the whole thing is just, I don't know, man. I like people watching. I like observing people and just trying to be like, why would somebody do that? And that's why the whole like, I just asked my buddy and he said he'd be down he just showed up and did it. I don't buy that because like, man, if like you reached out to me and I was working at Blizzard, like, yo, you want to help me time? No way, dude. No way. Right?
No.
Dude, his heart had to have been like absolutely swooning for this girl to yeah, I don't know.
Hey, can you break the game for me, please?
Can you just
no.
Yeah, right? Can you help us cheat in the most like obvious way possible?
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of funny. I like to laugh at it just like a tiny bit, just because it is like, of course, it's a dude that did it for. I don't want to say he did it for this woman, but like the signs are pointing there, right?
Oh yeah.
So
by the way,
I think that's the funny part about it.
By the way, absolutely screwed up his career, right? To try and like help this girl. Do you think she will ever give him like any time of day ever again?
No. Oh no.
No way, dude. Instant block, right? Because now in her mind, she's like, oh, this is the guy who got me banned from WoW and everyone made fun of me now, right?
Yeah.
So now he's lost his job, lost the girl. Bummer.
Yeah.
But you know what we do have now, though? You know what we do have now?
It is.
We have Jimothy, bro. We have Jimothy in World of Warcraft.
Yeah, that's kind of neat. Dude, I didn't even know what it was until I saw it on the news.
Do you want to explain? Cool. Do you want to explain to our listeners, for those who don't know, because we kept talking about Jimothy, but what Jimothy even is?
I think he's just like a viral, like, Dang.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. So Jimothy is a viral thing. He is. So it first started out on like social media. People were like, "Oh, what is this creature running around Seattle? We have our own like mythical creature here in Seattle running around." But Jimothy is basically just a raccoon with like a short spine syndrome, right? So like legs are like real long, like normal length raccoon legs, but like super short, tiny body. Like he was like shoved together like an accordion or something. And it's adorable. He's absolutely freaking adorable. And they made a Jimothy like pet that I guess they're adding into the game. So all they've said so far is that it's coming soon. They said you asked, Jimothy answered, coming soon to Azeroth, and then they showed us like the model, like the 3D model of Jimothy.
Yes.
Jimothy
Yeah, it's pretty
moving, animating, do stuff. It wasn't just like a edited image. Now there was a lot of like, not a lot. I'll say there's a little bit of controversy around it where players are upset because obviously anytime Blizzard does this, like or does anything at all, right? Anytime Blizzard announces or creates something, especially if it's just something silly and fun, you get like 30 comments that are like, "Oh, Blizzard has time to do this, but they still can't fix PvP. PvP has been broken since World of Warcraft beta came out, and Blizzard can't even fix PvP. So, why are they working on this?" Or somebody's commenting like, "Oh, so they can add this into the game, but they couldn't add this into the game? Okay, and I just like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, it's a character model. Like, come on. Like, I don't
Just
think
let it be
it's.
silly, dude. Just let it be silly."
Yeah, people just want to complain about something.
Yeah,
dude.
I hope though, because I know everybody wants Jimothy, but I think what would make Jimothy more exciting, because the what's gonna happen is they'll probably put it out and make it either like something you can just like pay for, maybe it'll even be some sort of like fundraiser program to like actually help animals in need. I don't know,
That'd be neat.
right? But then like you buy it, you get it, you're done, or maybe something super easy to get, like it's just Giga easy, everybody goes and gets it, and you're done. And that's fine. Like, that's cute. Like, glad they put it in there. But you know what I think would take this from, like, oh, cool, it was a fun meme, and now I got it, WoW, and I can move on, is if, like, what if Jimothy could live longer in WoW than Jimothy could live in the public attention, right? And so, like, how they would pull that off is imagine kind of, I'm thinking, like, in Pokemon, how you have, like, shinies.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if, like, there's raccoons in WoW, like the raccoon pet model, and there's a bunch of them around, but there's like a 1% chance one of them will spawn as like a Jimothy. And so it's like actually becomes something you kind of have to hunt for, right? Like it's not just like a, oh, hey, you go here, get it, you're done, or hey, go pay $10, you get it, you're done. But this like creature lives like on in like, oh, actually people who want to pet hunt have to go back and find it. It's like it's actually something a little bit challenging, but it's hard because when it's something a little bit challenging, people don't always want that for something like that's like just a fun, silly meme. They want to just like get it and move on. I do think it's adorable. I will definitely be getting him when he comes out. I know my wife was very excited. She wants him as well.
Jimothy. Yeah, I think it's neat, but I don't disagree with you. Like, I think the hype around it will kind of change once, like, even if it stays in the public spotlight for a while, I think people will just be like, oh yeah, that's kind of neat, but it's kind of over.
Yeah, I have the Wowhead article up. Sorry, I was commenting about this earlier, so I love this, right? I have the Wowhead article, and just the comments on, who the heck is Jimothy? Never heard of it. It doesn't matter. We've got rampant boosting problems. We've got rampant boosting problems. We've got trash boosting and cheating their way to titles and achievements. We got gazillion bots running around stealing all the herbs and ore. Wake up, Blizzard. And he's like, okay, bro. You okay there, dude? You all right, man? Like, I'm sure you're fun to talk to. I'm sure you're a great one to chat with.
I don't know. You gotta have something to complain about, dude. Can't go through life without complaining, dog.
That's true, dude. Complaining makes me feel better because then everything's someone else's problem. All the time.
Yeah. Everyone's got to complain like a little bit.
Everybody's got to complain about
like,
something.
I'm serious.
It doesn't
like,
matter.
I'm not
what.
joking.
Yeah, everybody's
but
got
to complain about a video game is like, yeah, okay. Sure.
Is what it
sure.
is. Is what it is.
It is what it is. Yep, you're right. It is what it is.
Can't do nothing about it. Dude, by the way, Blizzard put out recently, just kind of like, it's weird, because they were talking about, I'm trying to figure a way to phrase it. Blizzard was talking about how the end of season stuff is happening, right? So they're like, hey, like, don't forget to get all your achievements because this season will end eventually and you won't be able to get those achievements. But it's really weird that they're telling us this, but they still haven't given us a date yet for the next season. Right? Like, normally when they say that, when they're like, oh, hey, the new season starts this day, so you want to get done before then. I don't think they've told us anything.
I don't think we have, like, an actual, like, date either, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's, like, very speculative when it's coming, but I don't think we do have, like, an actual date set. I'm sure we'll learn, like, this week or next week would be my guess. This week or next week feels like the best time, like, easy time to just be like, hey, yeah, it's coming out in, what, like 3 weeks? 2 weeks before BlizzCon, probably?
Yeah, it has to be. They have to announce it soon. And the problem is, like, they need it out soon enough from BlizzCon, but also they don't need it too soon. Like, they probably have, like, a few more weeks they can get away with. But, like, how many weeks before BlizzCon do you think they need to have for the season to launch? Right?
Just in terms of, like, they give people, like, a tiny bit of time to play.
Yeah.
Probably, like, at least 3 weeks. 2 weeks doesn't sound like a lot. But I think you got to throw that third week in there because the first week is always just like, hey, go around and do random stuff in the expansion and not actually go and, like, do M+. So
what are you thinking?
It's like, okay, then you can start doing M+.
What are you thinking? Like,
What'd you say?
the 18th? You think, like, August 18th?
Yeah.
Because August 18th, right? 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks would lead us to, like, Tuesday the 8th. Right, so that so the reset would be the start of week 4. So basically, BlizzCon would be during week 4. BlizzCon is what I'm saying. During week 4 would be BlizzCon, during the 18th. That gives some time. Honestly, the big thing, right, is you don't want it too soon because imagine going to BlizzCon. You're so excited to go to BlizzCon, but, like, you're also kind of bummed because, like, 3 of your guildmates went to BlizzCon, and so now you guys can't raid. Right?
Yeah.
Raids
like...
canceled for the week, right? And it's like raids canceled, but the season just came out. So, like, why are we canceling raid when the season just came out, right? If it's like 5 weeks into season, like, whatever, who cares?
No one's gonna really care.
You do it too close to BlizzCon, right? And what if, like, Race to World first is? I really think they're gonna try and avoid that for sure. That would be a nightmare.
They would. Oh my goodness. Yeah, they definitely have to. Yeah,
I think you're right though. 3 weeks feels right because we haven't been given any notification, and it would be weird if they came to us and they were just like, oh yeah, we're doing that next week.
Now, what are the odds that they just hold off until after BlizzCon?
I don't think that's happening.
I don't either, but
I think the odds are slim to none. I think they got their timing wrong. I think it should have been. I think it should have been right after BlizzCon. The other problem, though, too, is I think they want us to get into the content before BlizzCon because it's really hard to talk about what's coming after that season if at BlizzCon if, like, the season hasn't started, right?
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, they're going to roll up and be like, hey, this is what is about to happen. And we're going to be like, huh?
Yeah, right.
I don't even know what...
All they can tell us is, here's what's happening in 2 days. And you're like, oh, cool, awesome.
Yeah, right. And then we're just going to, okay, sure, yeah.
Cool, I flew out to Anaheim for you to tell me what's coming in the new season.
Yeah, right.
I'll play it within a week. Why did I pay for this, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think that's the case. I think they want the season to come out. They want to give us time, and they want to allow some of those story beats to hit, so then they can tell us what is next. Yeah, the 18th I think sounds safe because the 18th, if this episode's coming out on the 27th, so let's say we're talking about the 28th as a Tuesday, right? So the 28th reset, 4th reset, the 11th reset, and then the 18th for launch. We could potentially see the 11th, but they'd have to tell us, like, now. Right? Because the 11th would basically be 2 weeks. So like they'd have to announce like on this Tuesday, like, hey, we're launching season 3 or season 2 on the 11th. We're excited. And I think the 11th would be great because it gives you plenty of time in the season before BlizzCon builds up more hype.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But
Yeah,
also, yeah. What were you about to say?
Yeah, I mean, it's weird to think about, and I don't know. I really don't know what's going through their mind, but I hope they drop it soon. Like I feel like they have to, right?
Okay, so here's the other question though. Do they like having the season start closer to BlizzCon? Because then as people get hype and news gets out from the BlizzCon stuff and people are like, you know what, I should play WoW again. I should try WoW. They're not starting like weirdly delayed into a season.
Yeah, that's also a route that they might go. Yeah, to be honest, I don't know. There's a couple different routes, and I think they all make sense.
Mm-hmm.
But they all make sense in different ways, and like this is sad for me to say, but I've seen it before at least like once. I feel like they might just choose the worst parts of each route and just, oh, whoops, we accidentally chose the worst part of each route, and now it's not looking good. And here we are.
And here we are.
Anyways, sorry.
Yeah, so I'm excited. I have no clue what they're going to talk about at BlizzCon. I did see a comment though recently, maybe it was even today. I saw it talking about the big sword, that's in Azeroth.
Sword. Oh yeah,
big sword, the big sword.
Big sword.
But they're talking about the sword in Azeroth and how like the last BlizzCon, which we skipped one, right? So like the last BlizzCon, they kept going, oh, what sword? Like the shirts had it. They were like selling merchandise, talking about the sword.
Oh, right.
The whole implication was we were supposed to get more info on this freaking sword, dude. We've gotten nothing. Like nothing has happened. We got one. Actually, yeah. I thought I figured they were going to be talking about that BlizzCon. Maybe it was going to happen. My only like guess could be that the sword is going to be answered as part of the trilogy, but the part of the trilogy it's going to be answered in is like the last part of the trilogy.
The very last expansion of the end of the trilogy.
Yeah,
we'll know
or the saga.
sword.
Yeah. So there's that, but I don't know. It felt kind of weird to like be marketing. Oh, you're going to find out about the sword in 5 years.
5 years.
In 5 years, you will understand the sword and all its mysteries. And actually, Azeroth really likes the sword. It wants to keep it. Right? Like
it's kind of funny.
Yeah, it's just silly. So I do wonder. I wonder if they're gonna like bring it back up again this year. Like, are they just gonna, dude? Like, are they just gonna like keep it going, like as an ongoing joke of like, oh, we're gonna tell you, but then they just don't. Right? We're gonna tell you, but then they just don't. Right? Which I think that'd be funnier. I don't mind a little comedy,
a little humor
in there, right?
Humor
just like the leading us on a bit. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't. To be honest, again, I don't follow a lot of lore, and you know that, but it is a little. It would be kind of interesting if they're this trilogy thing, and then they're like, oh, but you're not gonna find out until the end of that.
Until the end of it.
It's like, okay.
But we were selling shirts about it at the BlizzCon before it came out, right? Yeah, it's just a little weird. Yeah, I don't know, man. I want to do a conversation with you. I know you have a bunch of news you've been doing some digging into on WoW and things you want to share for people to know about. But before we get into that, I got a question for you.
Okay.
All right. I want to know, BlizzCon's coming up. Obviously, they're going to announce stuff about WoW. I have no clue what they're going to announce because I just... Right, we already know what the next expansion is, right? We know The Last Titan's the next expansion. Are they going to give us like details about season 3? I guess that's fine.
I think they give us a little bit, right?
Maybe they'll give us... You know what, though? They could give us a big, like... maybe there's a lot of housing info they'll give us. I don't know, right?
Oh, yeah. There'll definitely be housing info.
I just don't think there's like an earth-shattering, like, this is coming and it's gonna change everything in World of Warcraft. You know, like it's not like a World Soul Saga. It's not Chris Metzen walking out on stage and just being like, not one, but 3 expansions. The World Soul Saga. That's my Chris Metzen impression.
That was okay.
It was very bad. But my point being, right?
It was okay.
My point being, though, is that I don't think we're having anything like earth-shattering. So if you were to make some predictions of things that you think they're gonna bring up at BlizzCon, what would it be?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail. I think player housing is going to be a big focus. Just because I think player housing is one of those things where it's just been it's been in the back pocket, right? Like
Yeah.
once the expansion started, people kind of got into end game content, you know, even in game content, right? Like, you know, thinking of Prey and Dells and all that jazz, right? People kind of like, I don't want to say they forgot about player housing, but it's definitely been in the back pocket, right?
Oh, absolutely.
I don't think there's any other way of saying it. So I think they're going to start announcing things like that. I think they announce the addition of crafting in player housing, the ability to like just do engineering crafting and that kind of thing, you know, making crafting tables, yada, yada, yada. I think that'll get announced. I don't think that's a huge power creep or, you know, a pay to win thing. Well, I hope it's not pay to win. I think it'll be, you know, you have to craft these benches and things like that. But
yeah,
I don't think that's huge
though,
player
right?
power.
Yeah,
Yeah. I don't think that's huge player power.
Yeah.
I think they'll talk about things like that. Obviously, mounts and pets in houses as well. I think that's a big one. Obviously, they're going to talk about the third, you know, the finality to this World Soul Saga, you know, stuff.
But they can only tell so much because we don't have season 3 yet, right? So like,
yeah.
I know they don't want to spoil story, but I do want more info on the war or the Last Titan.
Yeah, I mean they'll talk about as much as they can without obviously, you know, giving spoilers, right?
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if they talk about something new in the works for Endgame. You know, I think we're missing. I'm not saying we're missing something for Endgame, but it wouldn't surprise me if there's some new Endgame content that they're, you know, spinning up. Whether that's 10-man raids again for Mythic or something like that.
Yeah, they did at one point. They brought it back up recently. Remember the idea of having another game mode, kind of like Plunderstorm. It seemed to be almost like a Dead by Daylight-esque type thing.
That's right.
And they kept teasing it, and it never happened. I'm guessing they ran into maybe problems in development or something, because they kept teasing it, and then it never happened. But then they continued teasing it. They didn't stop teasing it. They continued teasing it. And they told us it was going to be out at some point this season, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if that's brought up at BlizzCon. Not that that's like a big deal, but it's something.
It's something, yeah. No, I think that would be something that would tickle people's fancy. Just because I think Plunderstorm was wildly successful and more successful than people realize.
Yeah.
So I think any other game mode like this is definitely going to be something that is a big deal.
Except the
you
duels,
think
right?
of, yeah, well, we do have some updates about that, but
yeah. You know, when I think about BlizzCon predictions too, I wonder if they're gonna bring up anything that's coming after the Last Titan, right? Like, and obviously they can't do story, like they really can't tell us where the story's going after the Last Titan. But I wouldn't be surprised if they cast some vision for like what the game experience might be like after the Last Titan. And I've talked about it before, but if there was a moment for Blizzard to take a step back and be like, dude, we need to revamp the new player experience. And not just like, oh, hey, we have a cool little player tutorial set up for new players. But like an actual like fun gameplay leveling experience for new players. After the Last Titan is the time to do it. Right? Just set up like rebuild the magic of WoW, right? After the Last Titan, do it. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not getting my hopes up too high, right? But that would be the right time for them to be like, hey guys, we know we're wrapping up the World Soul Saga. The Last Titan is going to end in a way that you'll never predict. It's going to be crazy. But I want you to know, in the works right now, we are devising a plan to allow WoW not just to survive these past 20 years, but to survive the next 20 years. And the best way to do that is to bring new players into the game. And so we are trying to recapture the magic. Here's the system we're working on, right? That wouldn't like shock me.
Yeah. I could definitely see some new leveling. I think that's definitely going to get announced.
Yeah.
Because they've kind of been teasing it, with the new Chromie time and how that's kind of working out. So I wouldn't be shocked if they talk about leveling.
Oh yeah.
And maybe some PvP stuff. I feel like PvP is the one thing that, I don't know. PvP to me is kind of like that constant they don't want to change because it's like it works, so don't fix it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I could kind of see maybe them saying, okay, we haven't done anything with PvP for a long time. Maybe we should like mess with that.
Yep.
I don't know. I'm not a PvP guy.
Honestly, a PvP like a big PvP overhaul would go huge. I just don't even know. Like I don't even know what PvP players want, to be honest with you. I mean,
I have no idea.
I see them comment about the things they want all the time, but like I don't know if they all actually want the same thing or not. I think ultimately what PvP players want is just more people in PvP. I think more than anything that's what they want. Right. The hard thing though is I don't think WoW's always attractional to the player who wants to do PvP in the first place. So like naturally I think the player base is a little bit smaller there.
Oh. No, I agree with that.
All right, Chicken. You've got some notes. I know we got some listener questions for today. They're going to be really good, but you've got some notes you've been taking on just things happening in WoW or things to be coming up to keep an eye out for. Like what's in the news, dude?
Yeah. So we talked about it just for like a hot second.
Yeah.
But there is a major Decor Duels update.
Oh.
And along with that, they did announce that Decor Duels will not come back for 12.1, which I'm not surprised, to be honest. I think it needs to take a break because it's not like the greatest. But they did update it. I think they fixed a lot of things that people were upset about. The hiders aren't automatically revealed in the last 30 seconds. The flies have been removed. Energy for seekers has been reduced, and players will earn double the coins, the rewards. So they definitely did confirm it's not coming back in 12.1.
Do you think it's ever coming
whether
back?
We ever? I don't know. That's what I was gonna. That's the question I was gonna say.
What's your speculation? Like based on what they wrote, what do you think?
Yeah. So what they wrote doesn't give me like a full up like. They definitely didn't say like, hey, it's coming back, but they don't make it that it's like it makes it kind of seem like they aren't gonna bring it back. Like they're not like, oh, it's going away for now. Like they're just like, yeah, this is Decor Duels. It got updated. So again, I do think the changes they made were good. I think it's along the lines of what we've been asking for, but I just don't think it's there just yet. I think they need to add a couple more maps, in my opinion. I think that was one thing that
more diversity.
Like playing the same map over and over and over again just was not fun. like the first couple of times, obviously it's fun, but like you think of like this is a bad example, but like playing like Call of Duty Zombies on the same map over and over and over and over again for like 3 months is like just after a while it's like, okay, like we get it. So I definitely think they need right. We need more playable things, so that's something they need to work on. And again, I think they just need to make it more visible and more encouraging for the hiders. I still think they're like 80% of the way there. Like I think maybe giving taking away some of those special abilities from the
It
Seekers
needs
will
to be.
probably
It
help.
needs to be more fun and whimsical.
Yeah, and that too. Yeah.
You know what else though too, and it seems dumb, but the fact that you can't choose what you turn into, you just kind of have to keep hitting the button until you get something you're happy with. That doesn't
I
feel
don't
great.
necessarily hate that.
No, but let me clarify why I don't like that. In terms of like raw gameplay, it's fine, right? Like the way that the core duels works, everything's so randomly laid out anyways. Like there's not a lot of strategy to like which item you're gonna pick, right? It's just kind of like, oh yeah, this seems small enough, like whatever. But the problem though is, again, it just feels like it's one more thing that you don't have control over. And some of the fun of a prop hunt is finding the item you want to be.
Yeah.
And so I think that's like, again, it's just all those elements of like, how do they make it whimsical? And I don't think they're bringing it back. I think it's dead. I think they said it's not coming back in 12.1 so that they can maybe bring it back later and be like, yeah, well, we never said it was dead forever. It just was not coming back to 12.1. I almost feel like the plan right now is just for it not to come back at all because they don't view it as a big win. But it's one of those things where, like you said, I feel like if they reworked it, it could be a really big win. It just, they need to make it more whimsical. They need to make it more fun. Like feel like you have more control over what's happening.
Yeah, I think honestly, my opinion is they'll probably bring it back at like the end of the expansion, just as like, oh hey, remember this, guys? We kind of did this, and some people liked it, some people hated it.
Yep.
That's my guess. I don't know if that's realistic. I think you might be right. They're just gonna kind of say, we tried it, it didn't work, so we're just gonna table it for now, forever.
Yeah. That's
it'll definitely come back at some point. Probably not this expansion. I'd be kind of surprised if it came back this expansion.
Yeah, I would like to see it, but again, I'd like to see it reworked. It's just not there in its current build. All right, what else is going on, dude?
Yeah, so that is one big thing that is going on. Another thing, they got the BlizzCon packs. I don't know if you saw them. We talked about them for a little bit. I'm assuming they are 100% like if you got tickets to BlizzCon, you get them.
Yes, if you have tickets, there's like a code. There's a code on your ticket that you can copy to a certain web page, and
that's kind of what I figured. But
yeah, it'll give you the pack.
Okay, good. I kind of assumed that, but I wasn't exactly sure. So I was like, maybe we'll let Flag comment on that.
Yeah, so basically in years past, if you went to BlizzCon, you got the BlizzCon pack, and then if you watched BlizzCon online, when they did online stuff, you could then get the same pack from your online ticket. And when they moved to doing like a free online, because now BlizzCon is a free online, now it's I'm brain farting. Now it's
separate,
it's like
right?
it's
the
same thing you can pay for, right? Because there's no.
But I'm sure they'll do like a free like something like minor, like maybe like another Murloc, another Murloc decor. Like they've only made like 1 billion of them so far.
Yeah, another Murloc stuffy, right? Yeah, I got like 1 billion of those mouse. I don't know what to do with them, dude. I don't know what to do with them all.
I got so many of them.
You just start hiding them. You start hiding them in places. All right. What else? What else is happening?
Yeah, that is in the in-game shop. If you didn't get a ticket to BlizzCon, you're not going. You can buy it through the in-game shop, and it's not just WoW. Like it's Diablo, Overwatch, Hearthstone, and
it is possible to get different versions of it. I'd have to open up the thing, but they're like, if you're like, dude, I don't really care to pay for the Diablo stuff. I don't want to pay for the whatever. I believe you can split it out, so you could just pay.
Yes, you can just get the WoW stuff. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, so that's pretty nice if you're looking to spend a little in-game, or not in-game, if you're looking to spend some dinero on that, you can do that.
Yeah.
It's pretty neat stuff. So it's not the coolest thing that we've seen in the item shop, but it's cool enough in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So that's there. There's a D&D crossover, Dungeons and Dragons possible crossover.
Oh.
I think there was some like data leaks, and I'm trying to. I think I know
what you're talking about. Yeah, somebody like posted early about it, right? Like a company posted too early.
Yeah, it was on a blog. Yeah, it was on a blog that was like your choice is your story. Roll for Azeroth was the thing, and it
Roll
was
for
like D&D
Azeroth.
World of Warcraft pre-orders, and then like it was immediately like scrapped, and they just took it away. So yeah, it looks yeah. Oh well, so from what I'm told is it's gonna come out, or they're gonna officially announce it in like a week. So maybe this on the next episode we'll be saying, yeah, like we're gonna buy that, but I don't know. It looks like it was pre-announced early ahead of some kind of like Comic-Con event that's supposed to take place next weekend. It's like the largest, or a very large tabletop gaming convention. So maybe this time next week we'll be talking about D&D World of Warcraft. That's kind of neat.
Yeah, that'd be
I
exciting.
mean, there's
It's
a
cool
lot
to
of
do a
crossover
campaign.
between the games, so it doesn't surprise me.
There was a tabletop game. I play DVD. I play D&D occasionally with friends. You've been in campaigns with me before. You know what? I need our listeners to know. One time we were playing D&D. Chicken was a rock gnome. A rock gnome named Chicken Lover. And every time we got into combat, he would just go and hide in rocks.
Dude, I was a passive monk.
Yeah, so every time
That was my character.
every time we would go to a session and we would sit down, combat would begin. The whole session, no, I'm hiding in the rocks. Can't do it, I'm hiding in the rocks. I'm hiding in the rocks. I'm just hiding in the rocks. Dude, Chicken,
sorry.
I want people to know that Chicken is low-key one of the funniest guys ever. But his humor is so dry, and he will do the wildest things for the bit.
Dude, that was my character. I'm sorry. Like he wanted to. He wasn't a fighter, man.
Well, yeah,
Anyway.
I can tell. Anyways,
Well,
off
exactly.
topic. I believe there was a Warcraft tabletop game at one point that, like, I think it used. I don't know D&D well enough, but I believe it used the D&D like rule set that's like open for anybody to use or whatever. But this one's like an official like D&D and
Yes, yeah.
World of
Like this
Warcraft.
is like sponsored by D&D, that kind of deal. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's kind of interesting. We'll see what comes of it. I seriously have no idea what's gonna come of it. It might be like bad, but I doubt it. It'll probably be pretty cool. Maybe we'll have to do it.
Bad.
Maybe we should do a Patreon D&D session. If you're in the Patreon, you get to do a D&D session with us.
That could be fun, like a one-off.
A one-off like WoW D&D with the Patreon. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Not a bad idea. Everyone
Yeah.
floods to Patreon. Just kidding.
That's not terrible. Anyways, that's a pretty good idea for Patreon supporters. And then you said that in-game map coordinates were added. Is
Yeah,
this like
so
a 12.1
there's
thing?
there's a what's it called? There's always plugins to
Like
get in-game
TomTom,
map
yeah.
coordinates. Now you can just do it like without plugins
Do you still get the
or
cool
without
little,
add-ons. Sorry.
you still get the cool little arrow popping up on your screen that's like way more 3D than it absolutely needs to
Yeah.
be?
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow, that's sick. That's okay. That's cool. Good job, Blizzard. Does it actually work well?
And sorry, one last thing. Well, outside of the 12.1, there's a bunch of patch notes, development notes. There's big buffs, big nerfs to dungeons, to classes, to everything. There is, I don't want to say it's a leak, but it is with player housing, and it talks about the limits on decor and all that stuff. So the decor limit is now 10,000, so you can have 10,000 things in like your bag, if you will.
Ooh.
So that's kind of neat. Not saying that, I mean, I'll never hit 10,000, but that is a thing. But also 100 pets. You're allowed to place 100 pets in your house.
Wow.
Yeah, 100 pets. That's a
Wow.
lot.
Yeah, that is an
Dude,
obscene amount of pets.
You're gonna have a whole farm, dude.
No way that makes it to live. They've got to be testing like server strain.
You think?
No way. No way.
They said it was originally 10,
dude.
but now it's 100.
Yeah, dude, there's no way. Is this something that you found in notes somewhere?
This was actual PTR testing that someone did, and it's on Twitter. Someone did PTR testing and said that they now allow up to 100 pet beds.
No way.
Dude, the little post on Twitter from this dude named Soul.
Well, man,
So
no, it
Breezy.
means I get that. Yeah, when he tested it, probably worked, but there's no way that makes it to live.
Oh, you don't think it's real? Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those like too good to be true things.
Dude, 100 pets. By the way, though, I don't want to walk into somebody's house and have 100 pets.
Imagine they just have.
I don't care. I mean, design your house however you want, but there's only ever been one offensive house I've ever walked into in this game, and that's Travo. He's one of our listeners. Oh, maybe he's listening to this episode, maybe not, but he had a room that was so bright that I needed to put like sunglasses on when I walked in. It's hard to explain.
Oh, his white room.
Yeah, his white room, dude. It just it flashbangs your monitor, bro. I opened up the door into that room, and Counter-Strike instantly loaded with the flashbang sound. And
oh my God.
There I am in office.
I should go to his house. I kind of want to check it out.
Yeah, it's a cool room. But anyways,
I've been there.
I don't remember what I was saying. Oh, all I was saying, I don't want to walk into somebody's house who has like 100 pets, and my game's like freaking out while they're all trying to like find their ways to path. And by the way, like at 100 pets, they're just pathing through each other the whole time.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'd low key be a little funny.
Unless there's like a certain number of pet beds that you can have per room, and he found a way to get enough rooms with enough pet beds to get to 100 pets, and the pets never leave that room. They only ever circle that one room that they're in.
Baby?
That could be it.
Yeah, they don't have like a lot of context behind it. It's basically just, hey, there's, allowable of 100 pets.
Because I'm just picturing like somebody taking like a large square room and just slapping crap ton pet beds in there.
Would be kind of neat.
It would be horrible, dude. I love housing. I want people's wildest dreams to come true. Just not that one.
Just not that.
Just not that. Anyways.
Pick posh.
Anyways, it is time for us to talk about some listener questions. Before we do that, shout out to Vornak, dude, who is listening on Patreon live right now, hanging out with us. He was like 100 pets, dude. That's a giant litter box. I agree. That place is gonna stink.
Oh my gosh,
bro. I've walked into people's houses who like either have too many pets or just don't know how to take care of their pets well. Rabbits are the worst usually. Like when I walk into a house and they have rabbits, you can smell it right away. And I know because I used to have rabbits. But I
can't tell if you're talking about in real life.
No, real life, yeah. But anyways, in game too, like that's gonna be stinky. Even though you can't smell it in game, you just know there's gonna be like stink, smoke flying around your apartment. Anyways, what I was trying to point out though that Vornak's listening to the podcast be recorded live, which also means he has access to our special bonus Patreon content that's at the beginning of all of our live recordings on Patreon. If you also want to become a Patreon supporter and have access to our live recordings or bonus content, you get priority questions. You got to hear Glox ask his question on audio recording. There's a link to our Patreon down below. Ultimately, though, we're just thankful for those who support us on Patreon. You guys are amazing. I really want to encourage you. We offer these things to our Patreon supporters, but ultimately, like, I'm not trying to talk you into doing it. I'm not trying to convince you to do it. I'm just really thankful for people to do it who support this podcast and the stuff that we offer. Ultimately, it's just because we feel bad asking for money with nothing in return. And so we want to be able to kind of give back a little bit with our Patreon. But at the same time, you guys keep the lights on in our studio, our metaphorical studio. You pay the bills to make sure we can upload every week to our podcast host and keep everything stored and past episodes recorded. And we often go over our monthly, I think is our monthly allowance of time and pay extra. And all that's covered by you, our Patreon supporters, and we're so incredibly thankful for that. And if anyone ever wants to sponsor the podcast in some way, whether you have a company or you know somebody whose product would line up well with our listener base, feel free to reach out. We have an email listed down in the links below. You can reach out to the Warband, which is warbandpod@gmail.com, for any business inquiries and whatnot. Or maybe you know somebody who you think would be a great guest for the podcast. Feel free to reach out. With that said, though, we are going to transition into talking about some of our listener questions. And we have a few. We have some fun ones today, some different ones. All right. We have a few questions coming in from Vector. So let's see if I can get this kind of all in one. So he's got a question. He asked it a little while back, but he wants it to be for the 100th episode. And so he says, looking back, what's your favorite social moment in WoW? Tell us the story and why. All right. So, Chicken, I guess I'll start there with you. What's your favorite social moment in WoW?
I don't know. This one's kind of hard.
Yeah, I thought you were gone for a second. You were thinking hard.
I'm sorry?
You were thinking hard. I actually almost opened up Discord to make sure we were still in the call together.
Yeah, I'm trying to... To me, it's kind of hard because I don't know if we've had a lot of social moments. There's probably one or two keys that I've just really been enjoyed. There's one key that I remember I did with X.
Yeah.
And X, if you're listening to this, you're still trash. But I was playing with X and a couple other guildies.
This is the other guildies, right? I wasn't there, but I've heard about this.
Dude, he was so bad. That key was so bad. Terrible.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good time. We laughed, we loved, we lived, right? But
I heard you were just yelling the whole time.
Dude, because X was being a dude. Oh my gosh. Dude, he was yelling at me, but then he wasn't even talented into the one thing that would have fixed everything. What warrior doesn't oh my gosh, that was back in, oh my goodness, I don't even remember. That was Dragonflight. What warrior doesn't talent in to Shockwave to help do massive CC? I was so mad.
The massive CC. Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah, I remember that. I think our guildmaster reached out and was like, Swag, I gotta tell you about this dungeon I just ran with Chicken.
Dude, it was so bad.
Because I think up to this point, they all just thought you were kind of the quiet guy who never said anything, kind of just hung around, and then they're like, yo, he's actually really funny.
Done some good dungeons too. Probably just some here and there dungeons. All the what's it called that we've done, all the AOTC runs. Yeah, they're good, but they're kind of all the same. Maybe the only one that stands out would be what's his name? Firelek boy.
Firelek.
Because we did that one pretty quickly.
That was a fast one. Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, I think we did that in one night.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was the first night too. I think that was the first night we actually got to him that we killed him. It was quick.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that was a very fast boss fight, which is funny because the first time you do it, you're like, this is awesome. We feel amazing. And then after the first time, you're like, okay, I don't want the next boss to be like this though, because I kind of enjoy this. I enjoy this part of the game. I like trying to figure it out. I don't want raid to be over that fast.
Yeah, I mean, we probably would have beaten him quicker if it was I feel like we just had a problem with people picking up the thing in the last phase where you protect
hard.
everyone.
We had a hard time with that.
And then they would just forget they had it, and then they wouldn't put it down.
Yeah, we did have a hard time with that one.
Yeah, it's probably got to be either that one was a good one, and that was the only time we ever got into some mythic pushing, and that felt really good. And then our raid league got sick, and we stopped. I mean, that I feel like we could have gotten I don't want to say super far in Mythic on that raid, but we would have at least had a fighting chance to get through maybe half of it.
Yeah. Dude,
Anyways,
I got so many stories, and I'll try to keep it brief because I don't know if I can give you like a favorite, man. I don't know if I can give you a favorite, but I think you would much appreciate if I give you more than one. The first one that comes to mind, I had a friend named Charlie. Middle school, 8th grade. It was the summer going into 8th grade. My family moved. We moved to a new home in a new school district. I didn't know anybody around. We barely had any neighbors. It was like more like large, kind of like farmish properties around. And so like there really wasn't anyone like my age hanging around. And I want to say like a few days after we moved in, and no, like the neighbors kind of kept themselves, right? The neighbors kept themselves. A few days after we moved in, some like kid like knocks on my door. It's like, hey, I'm Charlie. I want to introduce myself. You guys moved to the neighborhood, which is kind of weird that like, and by the way, when I say kid, he was going into his junior year of high school. So he was a kid, but like for me, a middle schooler, he was kind of old looking, right? Like I was like, whoa, that's an older kid. Wow, cool. And so I got to know Charlie. I got to know Charlie pretty well. He was the one who ended up getting me into World of Warcraft. We would hang out, we would do stuff. He got me into like Magic the Gathering as well, which I never really took off on, but he got me into WoW. I remember him sitting up in my room, showing me how to create my first account in World of Warcraft, how to download the game, get all the stuff, and like make a trial account just so him and I could go level together. That's all. Like all he wanted. He's like, hey, dude, I've been loving this game. I want to get you into it with me. We'll just go level and like do some stuff. And I thought that was awesome. Made an undead warlock. That was my first character. And I just those early memories with Charlie playing WoW, like meant a lot to me. Just like meant a lot to me. I really appreciate it. I loved it. He has since passed away, so he's gone. And so for me, that's a really like personal memory where it's like, hey, this is like the first person after moving and feeling like kind of scared as a kid. First person kind of like build a relationship with me, and also set me on the trajectory of a hobby that I love. And so that's a big one. That's a big one. I still remember it's like just adventuring through Silver Pine Forest. I remember him showing me what Shadowfang Keep was for the first time. Thinking how cool it was that he was helping me and these other guys out with Shadowfang Keep because he was like 4 levels higher than us. And so like we were so lucky he was helping us. And I was like, that's my friend. My friend's helping us do this dungeon. Isn't that crazy? I know that guy, right? And I'm like bragging because I know this guy who's level like 24. Well, I'm like level 16. I'm like, oh, but I know him, dude. That cool guy who's helping us with the dungeon. I know him. So that was a big memory. Another one in high school, later in high school, played World of Warcraft. This was during Wrath of the Lich King when I was like more seriously playing WoW. Wrath of the Lich King, I'm max level and playing, but at this point, I don't think Charlie was playing WoW anymore. He was kind of the kind of kid who got into something for a little bit and moved on. So I don't think he played WoW for very long. So I was playing WoW like by myself, and I found out that these 2 kids I like to talk to in school played WoW, and all of a sudden, like I just felt like I had friends. I was like, "Whoa, I know people. This is so cool. They play the game I love too, and like we can play together." And so that was kind of sick, right? And then more recently in life, man, it's been a while now. I think it's been like 5 years maybe now. I think like 5 years ago I got divorced. And that was rough. That was like a very just depressing season of my life. And I was playing WoW, and I remember being at a raid with the guild I was in at the time. That's where I met X. X and I were actually both in the same guild together, called Hope's Fate. And it was a nice guild. I like the people in it. It was on the dead server though, so that kind of sucked. But I remember being at raid and just like I couldn't make it through raid. I was just so sad. And like nothing felt meaningful. Nothing felt like there's any like emotion to it. And I just logged out middle of raid. And I think I did that twice. And the raid leader reached out to me. He's like, hey man, like I understand you're going through a lot. We're here for you. Just kind of give us a heads up next time before you log out. He was super nice about it. Wasn't like mean or anything about it. But at this point I was like pretty sure I was gonna quit WoW. Nothing. There's nothing in my life that was like remotely enjoyable to me at that time. And for whatever reason, I logged in. That's not true. I still enjoyed my job, and I enjoyed the people at my job, and being part of my church. But outside of that, like once I would go home, right? Like I would like go home. It just was like I was just by myself. Didn't turn the lights on most of the time. Just sat in the dark, right? And one night I was playing a paladin, and I was trying to heal on this paladin, and I was like, I want to try a dungeon, maybe or not a dungeon. I want to try a raid. I want to do like a normal difficulty raid. I think I could heal it on this paladin. I've already been healing this raid on my shaman. I might be able to do this. And that's when I found the guild that we're in now. I found Astra, and dude, I just loved that first night. That first night raiding with them was just such a joy, and the community and the fun and the friendship, and obviously I've been there. I've been there ever since. That was like 5 years ago. I joined this guild like 5 years ago. I love this guild. It's amazing. And so that's a huge memory. And now like I just like all my favorite WoW memories from that point forward are like memories of doing things with this guild, right? I thought the Shadowlands Season 3 raid tier was probably my favorite raid tier ever. Just for the sake of like that was just us goofing off so much. It was just such a fun raid tier. And all like the different memories, all the silly things we've done, all the stupid naked runs we've done as a guild, running across Azeroth, trying not to get eaten by dinosaurs and killed by giant cats and other things. It has just been nonstop fun. So that's probably my answer there.
There you go.
I know there's a lot of memories. I love WoW. You know what though? Vector has a few questions, and I think I'm going to hold on a couple of them and spread them out. So he has a question about kind of like if WoW restarted or had to reboot, where would we want to go? I'm gonna hold on that. We'll save that for next week, and we're gonna hit his other question though for the 100th episode. Where do we go from here as a podcast? Where do we go? What's next? Chicken.
Oof.
This is fun because I think you and I are both at a point right now. We've kind of hinted it to each other. We know it's probably time for you and I go grab lunch, sit down, and just yap about the podcast and like dream of the next stage for this podcast. I think we've both got some ideas. We've both got some thoughts. So what we're about to say is probably him and I both just individually shooting from the hip and not necessarily like this is the plan that we have. There's some things I think we know we have to go towards. But yeah, Chicken, I'll let you take the floor first.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, this podcast is gonna stay. There's not like, hey, we're thinking about doing, dropping the podcast and we're gonna start like a TV show. Obviously, that's not gonna happen.
Well,
I don't want to say it's not gonna happen.
You and I can make a banger TV show.
Yeah, I shouldn't say it's not gonna happen. It's not very likely. How's that? So still look for the podcast. So personally, I think there's going to be a shift towards just what content can we do and how can we make it enjoyable and how can we continue to grow the podcast. And I think the only way to grow the podcast more than what we're doing right now is to expand the content horizon and coming up with just different avenues of content, right?
Yeah.
So definitely look for that.
For sure.
I don't know what that's gonna be, but it's gonna be something.
Yeah, I think we're kind of hitting a point right now where we want the podcast to continue being exciting. And the hard thing is when you hit 100 episodes, it's too easy for it to be like, well, here's the rhythm. Here's how we do it. Here's what's going on. And we want to make sure that we're bringing you guys the best we absolutely can. And so I think part of it too for us is like, one of the questions is how we start better preparing. How do we better prepare for each podcast recording to make it as good as possible? But another element too, I think I can say this because I think we're probably pretty set on making the move soonish. But we'll probably move to a video format for the podcast. We're doing pretty well on most podcast platforms. We love the audience that we love I'm brain farther. We love the audience that we have on all these platforms, but on YouTube, the podcast kind of struggles. It struggles on YouTube, and I think part of that is just because we're posting an audio podcast to YouTube, and that's really hard to grow. Just like naturally, that's not going to be an easy thing to pull off, but we still really want to do well. But we also know that like there could be something really fun about being able to offer video, and it could allow us to use that video for shorts and to potentially pull more viewers into the podcast. So one of the conversations we've just been having right now is how do we make that next step? How do we move to doing a video-based podcast? For our audio listeners, when we move to a video-based podcast, nothing changes for you. We're not going to be doing anything different that makes audio less good. In fact, the audio quality will be the same. The sound will still be the same. We just want to get video. With that said, though, our 104th episode coming up, that will be a video episode. That's not how all future video episodes will be. That one's just going to be a video episode because we did that for our 1-year anniversary at 52 episodes, and we think it'll be fun to do for our 2-year anniversary, 104 episodes. So we'll go use the podcast studio I have at work, and we'll go record in there for that week's episode. So that one's a little unique. That one's a little special. That's a different one, but we are excited for that. And yeah, there's no plans to slow down the Warband or stop the Warband. We will be this year. We are going to be launching the Warband podcast. So that'll be a twice-a-week podcast with Chicken and I going through the entire chronological story of World of Warcraft.
No.
Okay, never mind. Chicken said no. We're taking that one off the radar for now. We'll talk about it later and see what we can do. I'll keep working on that for you guys. All right. Question coming from Goggle Dog. He says, when you need outside information for WoW, like tutorials, tips for your class, etc., where do you go and why? Can be, I go to this website for this thing and another source for this other thing, or just overall preferred source for WoW info. Yeah, Chicken, where do you go?
Definitely Wowhead. If I need to do certain things, if it's tips for the class, it's always Wowhead. But even that, they've added like new add-ons in WoW that you can just like grab stuff from Wowhead and other sources. Like Radar.io is another good one. Sometimes I'll just bump in and see like, oh, this is like the top DK in the world. Like what's he running, right? Like what talents is he using, right? Mm-hmm. So doing things like that. Wowhead, obviously, I mentioned that. YouTube's good. I'll go to YouTube if I need to find like, hey, this is what this person. This is a good run for, Pit of Saran, and things like that. Keystone Guru is always the go-to when I need to find something for routes and things like that. But yeah, typically I try to stick in game because there's enough add-ons in my opinion.
Yeah,
to help.
Yeah, it's funny because there's part of me that like I love going outside sources, but then also sometimes I get overwhelmed. It sounds weird, but sometimes I get like a little overwhelmed. There's just so many options, and so I often keep it simpler for myself. Usually it's Wowhead. Sometimes I'll cross-check with Icy Veins. Sometimes if I'm trying to like really, really be like nerdy, then I'll go pull up like what are the best players doing, and like try to look at their talents. A lot of the times though, if I'm really stuck, I'll try to find a player that I can get in contact with who is playing the spec I play, but at like a much higher level than what I play. So like I've done that when I was on my Resto Shaman. I reached out to Oreo, who's been on the podcast a few times, and gotten help like on my talent build. Recently, I've done that with a friend of Glock's, who was giving me some help with Blood DK and answering some questions I have with Blood DK. So every once in a while, sometimes I like just talking to people. Sometimes the social aspect, you'll ask a question, those connections, that can be really good too. But yeah, there's just like Wowhead a lot of times for basic things. It's kind of like one-stop shop, which is nice, but it's not always perfect. And then oftentimes I'll go to YouTube too. Some of those guys on YouTube have like some great stuff. I think a while back, I was playing Brewmaster Monk before this season, and I was having some trouble. Like it just wasn't feeling great. Like it was feeling pretty bad. And I was using like a Wowhead build, and I tried like an Icy Veins build, and I still wasn't loving it. And I found this like random YouTuber talking about his Brewmaster Monk talent build and why he does what he does. And I took it and I was like, oh, this is great. I love it. Like, and from that moment forward, I was like really enjoying Brewmaster. So sometimes, it just kind of, you keep trying until something works when it comes to talents, which is nice. But yeah, I hope that answers the question. All right. We're going to wrap up there. We also have a question from Squirrel Thug, but we're going to save that for next week. So just letting you know we saw it. We'll save that for next week's episode. I also want to point out that next week's episode is going to be a little special. Today was supposed to be a guest interview episode, and we had to postpone it because our guest got sick this morning and could barely talk and just couldn't make it onto the podcast. That's totally fine. But I'll let you all know that next week we're going to be having we're going to have a returning guest, someone who was on, I think it was our second guest episode, so episode 10, they previously guest. But we're excited to have her back on. It is our guild master of our podcast, or of our guild, not of our podcast, our guild master of our guild. She's wonderful, leads one of the most incredible guilds in all of World of Warcraft. We love our guild, Astra. If you want to invite Astra, by the way, come join the Warband Discord, and we'd love to get you an invite into the Astra Guild. It's not a Warband podcast guild. We just happen to hang out in there. We love it. Always want to offer the invite out. But she does such an excellent job at organizing and running a guild at a high capacity, with a lot of players and a place that players really want to be. We have so many people in our guild who aren't even like raiding with us or anything else. They just simply purely enjoy being a part of the community. And so if you are active in your guild, or you're leading a guild, or you're assisting with a guild, that's definitely, that interview next week is going to be one that you want to listen in on, because we want to try and share some of the tricks and tips and strategies that are used to build up a healthy guild, and what you can do for that. But overall, the whole episode is going to be amazing. Normal Warband content, but we're going to have a little guest episode spot in there as well, so that'll be nice. But we're going to see you all next week with episode 101.
Yeah, buddy.